take me back through when you first officially learned that you made the playoffs. What obviously, what was the reaction? How did you celebrate? Who were you with? And all that. Just take me through that aspect of it.
Oh gosh, it feels like a couple of weeks ago now. I think we clinched when Vegas won, if I remember correctly. It was late at night because obviously they're playing on the West Coast, we're playing on the East Coast. So I remember the game and honestly like I didn't have much of a reaction. It was just like you're definitely happy, but I know we had practice the next day. I think we might have had an off day the day that we ended up clinching when we really didn't do anything. It was everybody else that kind of helped us out. So came to work the next day and everybody was definitely happy, but I think we still had 7 games to play, or we had this whole month still to play. And I thought we approached this month really well too. Obviously, we had a homestand after clinching, and I thought we did a really good job at going 1-0, or trying to approach every game just one game at a time. Obviously, we had a couple tough losses in there back to back to Vegas, but I thought our win versus Dallas was good. And then obviously tonight, like this is another opportunity for us to prep for the playoffs while still not knowing our opponent, and that's how we've kind of approached it from there.
And my second question, thank you so much. My second question is, um, what areas of growth are you proud of? Not so much on a basketball court, but just
Mhm.
as a 22-year-old woman, being thrusted to this this WNBA world, and
Mhm.
now the season's ending. What are some of the things that you're proud of that you've grown from and that you've learned during the year off the court?
Mhm. Yeah, I would say obviously this last year of my life, whether it was college or whether it was the WNBA, like I've definitely been in the spotlight. So I feel like just keeping my mind right at all times is definitely hard when you're 21, 22 years old, and you're doing this and everybody has an opinion on you. But I think for myself is what I'm most proud of is I'm really good at blocking that out. Like I don't really care what people think of me. I care about what my teammates think of me. I care about what my coaches think of me. I care about how my family feels about me, how my friends feel about me in the close circle that I have. But I think that's one of the most things that I'm most proud of is just my mentality of how I approach every single day, whether it was a good day before, whether it was a bad day before, is, you come back to work. I feel very lucky and fortunate to be able to play basketball at the highest level. And sometimes it's going to be tough. I think especially very early on, it was frustrating because I wanted us to have success. I wanted us to be really good, and it took time to get to that point. But I think the things that I'm most proud of is definitely my mentality and my approach every single day. And I think that can take you a long way. And uh, you don't get caught up in what everybody else thinks about you. It's how you feel about yourself and the people in your locker room that really matter.
Hey, Caitlin.
Mhm.
I want to ask about Kelsey. You just said, it takes time. It took time all season for you guys to kind of mesh and things like that. But
Mhm.
since the Olympic break and you two have been playing so well together,
Mhm.
what, I don't know if clicked is the right word, but what feels better about how you two have been able to play together,
Mhm.
especially since the Olympic break?
I think we're just playing off of each other better. I think we're using her speed really well. I think we just have that unspoken chemistry, which like you can't like teach that or like practice that. It just comes with playing with one another, and we just needed time to play with one another to build that. Whether it's us making eye contact and she goes back door. I think the amount of backdoor layups she's got over the course of the year, especially in the second half, is pretty incredible. So I think it's just the unspoken chemistry, and that comes with just experience of playing with one another. But I think also just the fun we've had when we really have found our groove. I think that's helped us build confidence between one another and trust between one another, and that can get you a long way as well.
Caitlin, people are going on social media and talking about like who they're voting for. Some journalists are doing that. And there's conversation about you in the MVP.
Mhm.
Obviously, they vote one, two, three, four, five. And what does that mean to you to know that there are journalists who cover this league day in and day out who believe you are one of the top five for the MVP award?
It's definitely cool. I think especially where I started the year and then was able to kind of figure it out as we go. And now entering game 40, like it feels night and day from where I started. And, I'm proud of myself in that regard. I think I've learned a lot, and I've had to learn without really much time to practice or have an off season to implement things that I want to implement, and having to learn, a new scheme and new teammates and new coaches. So, trying to balance that all at once has definitely been difficult. But once we kind of found our groove, I think, my teammates have allowed me to be myself, and that's what's kind of brought us some success. Um, but it's definitely special. But I think one of the biggest things for myself is like I've tried to keep basketball the main thing, and just to enjoy it and play fun or play and have fun, play free. I think that's when I'm really at my best. But at the same time, like you don't get caught up in all of that. That kind of just comes with how you perform on the floor. So it's definitely a cool honor. People that have been in the basketball world and the WNBA space for a really long time to think of you in that way. But at the same time, I feel like there's just so much room for me to improve. And obviously, we have big goals in the playoffs entering that here in our last regular season game. I still feel like there's a lot more for us that we can achieve and still, exceed some expectations that people have for us. So I think more than anything that can get us further as an organization. So I think that's what's been cool for myself in this first year is just, approaching every single day like, it's new, it's fresh. I think early on, that was the best thing about us, which is our energy. Like never was flat. We came in and we got better and we knew that the tide was going to turn for us and it certainly did.
We got time for two on Zoom before we finish up in the room. Lindsay, then Kyle. Lindsay, you go ahead.
Hey, Caitlin, it's Lindsay from USA Today. I'm curious how your budding friendship with Lexi Hull has impacted her play on the court, you think? And what do you love about her? I mean, I know you said that your Twitter account's now a Lexi Hull fan account. But what, like, besides her making threes, do you love about her?
Yeah, I think Lex, like I've said, was kind of put into a tough spot. Like, she wasn't getting minutes early to start the year. She was getting spot minutes here and there. And for her to stay positive, and come in and work every single day or do extra conditioning or play extra after practice, it certainly paid off. I think what she brings for us is just a tenacity especially on the defensive end. Like, she's going to be the one that dives on the floor. She's going to be the one chasing the best player all over the court. And she's obviously worked really hard on her shot as well. I think since the Olympic break, the way she's been able to shoot the ball has been incredible. I know she was leading the league in 3-point percentage. I think she still is. That's really hard to do. And I think it's added a whole nother dynamic for us. So I think she's played really well on both sides of the floor. But what's most impressed me the most is just her approach every single day. Like I said, it's really hard to go from somebody that gets no minutes to somebody who's in the starting lineup. And she's really exceeded when her role has changed and she's given an opportunity. So I'm really happy for her. But also she's just somebody that's, fun and, is lighthearted and enjoys basketball and enjoys being around people and, to be one of her friends and teammates. That's what makes it a lot of fun for myself too.
Yeah, Kyle on Zoom, then we'll finish with Candace in the room.
Hi, it's Kyle Smedley with the Herald Bulletin. I'm working on a story where I've talked to a lot of fans just about why they connect with you, and why they root for you. And so I guess I'm just wondering, throughout this past year, have you ever like sat back and wondered, why you are kind of one of the key figures in the growth and the boom of women's basketball?
I mean, I haven't had a ton of time of reflection over the course of the last year. I think that's something that will definitely come as the season winds down and I can reflect back on my life over the course of the last year. But I think the way I play the game is definitely something people love, whether it's the logo threes, whether it's the pace I play with, whether it's the passion I play with, whether it's the smile I play with. I think that's what people love, but also, I mean, I try to interact with fans. I try to get into it with the crowd. Like I try to give them something to cheer about. Like I want them involved. Like it's an experience for me, but it's also an experience for them. Like I have just as much fun stepping on the court in front of these sold out arenas as they do coming. And I get excited to play in front of sold out arenas. I want to give them what they're paying for. Like obviously this is game 40 and we're locked in and we know we're going to be the 6th seed, but I know there's going to be 18,000 people here tonight. Like that's what makes me so excited about tonight is like these people, a lot of them don't have an opportunity to see the Fever play much. And, a lot of them are probably traveling many miles to come here and spend money and bring their young daughters, their young sons. So I think that's what it is for me. And I think a lot of my fans are definitely younger as well. I think I'm able to connect across a lot of different generations and people. But I think definitely the younger fans, and I relate to them just because I feel like I was just that young girl too that, wanted to go to every single basketball game, begged my parents to go to sporting events. And I know how special those memories are for their families or for friends or whoever it is. So I try to make the most of it every single time I step on the floor. It's cool for me just as it is cool for them.
Yep.
Again,
Oh no, it's all good.
if we kind of go back to this time last year, where you maybe weighing the pros and cons of taking that 5th year, staying in Iowa, or maybe turning pro, you've been in the spotlight, you've been a celebrity, you've known your icon status. But if you kind of consider all that has happened, does any of it even surprise you?
Mhm.
People caring about what you like
Mhm.
on Instagram,
Mhm.
everything around this year, has any of it surprising you?
Um, I don't know if it's surprising. It's all happened so fast that it's like you kind of just got to take it with how it goes. I think after my junior season, when we reached the national championship, I was kind of entering my senior year, and I was like, "Oh, like how do we top that?" Like we just, we lost a couple players out of our starting five, and it's like things seemed about as perfect as they probably could have got for us at the University of Iowa. And then, we just came back to work and things got even better. Um, so I feel like for me, it's not like a surprise. I feel like I just continue to put my head down and keep working and have a lot of belief in the people around me. But um, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel famous. Like I don't feel like a celebrity. So that's not the way like I approach my life and I approach people in my life. Like I still go to the grocery store. Like I still go and buy candles at the store, like the fall spice candles. Like I still like do all that stuff. Like I go and pick up food. Like people don't do that for me. Like that's not how I approach my life. Like I approach it the same exact way. And I feel like that kind of goes back to the question prior. I feel like that's why people can also connect with me, like, because I feel like I'm real and authentic to them and try to be as normal as possible. Like, I never try to seem superior to somebody. I just try to be somebody that loves playing basketball and loves bringing people joy. And I feel very fortunate to do that. So, um, at times it surprises me, but I feel like I don't even have a moment to breathe and really understand what's going on at times. So I feel like it goes back to that after the season is over, a lot of reflection and really taking in every moment that I've been able to cherish over the last year. And it's all been very special for myself, every high and every single low.